All right, you are live.
I am live.
Yeah, you.
Oh, the excitement, the thrill, the chills. Ooh, I'm so excited. Hey, Muscle Up, how's the video and voice quality? How's it looking? Alrighty. Voice is doing okay. Last week we were having issues. Not sure why.
Yeah, how is the audio specifically? And me, etc.
Anyhow, so yeah, I don't know how many people are here. What do you got showing?
Nothing. We're not going to have anything showing people for forever here.
Really? It just takes forever. Data.
Yeah, especially now. It's not even showing on here that we're on our screen right now.
Really?
Yeah. Don't ask why. Put it on recording again right now. I'm trying.
You might have just given us a thumbs up saying, okay, that's cool with me.
Muscle Up, can you hear and see us, please? Let us know what you're hearing or seeing.
Give us feedback. Little one, get your phone out. Kind of weird work. Okay, he says I can hear you. It's good.
I'm still going to get on my phone and see what I've got
Yeah,
here.
she's gonna check it out on her phone too.
Not that my phone ever tells me.
Yes, it never.
Start talking and don't stop.
I am talking. So anyhow, we were out. Mainly, the purpose of the trip was to check not survey, uh, claim monument, corner stake, or uh, discovery monument. Paperwork, stakes are still there, etc. And as you can see, that was not necessarily the case. And so we noted two discovery stakes completely missing. Unfortunately, I only bought a couple of jars with it, so, and just basically enough wood for one stake. And so we were kind of shorthanded.
Harry Smith says he can't hear you on his phone. I'm going to look on my phone again.
Yeah, her phone was just working. I could hear myself. So I'm not sure what's happening here. I can hear me there. Still not hearing anything, Harry? No, it is not, Honey Bunny. They have to meet certain requirements. For example, a 4 foot high pile of rocks, a 4 foot high 4 inch post, or a 8 inches in diameter blaze. But Dave says it's very low on his phone. I don't know why. Crank the volume up, I guess. Some other people are getting fairly good. And
I'm only getting decent volume on my phone by keeping it at max.
That's maxed up there, right?
Yeah, I can't do much about this over here. But okay, we're gonna go through a full set of sound checks. He's gonna start counting.
No, you just get on your freaking phone and listen to. There's no sense having to go through other people. Okay? Just crank it to max. So push max everywhere and see what happens. Thank you, Biopi?
BICPR, just Cruz.
BICPR.
Thanks, Cruz.
Thanks, Cruz. Anyhow, so as a matter of fact, I try and make the monuments discreet when I can, because as you can see, people mess with them, and that's totally undesirable. What is it? terms of your voice versus mine? We're getting about the same.
I have no idea. I'm not worried
You've
about
got
you
a
because
phone that's in your freaking ear.
it's not in my ear. It's on the desk, and it has not changed for me.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So we're not sure what's going on. I don't think there's any kind of manual adjustment here.
Harry, I already did the boost thing.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything different to this system at all in recent weeks. It's just randomly decided to start being bullshit.
When I've been getting that computer shutting down, where it's locking on me, when I close, it would say something about closing an application, some audio application having trouble closing. And
I have no clue. Okay. I've done everything I can over.
Okay. She says she's done everything she can. Is that good enough? I can hear myself on her phone, so I presume it's good enough. And so anyhow, we generally try and keep the monuments kind of out of sight, out of mind, especially the jars. Apparently, people like to shoot them because it makes an interesting target. So it's kind of hard to do things surreptitiously at times, but we do it as good as possible so that it's not hugely obvious from a distance, especially. Also, I guess that means all is good in your ear, David? Or no, it is not good in your ear.
Well, a couple of the ones that were totally screwed with were really out of sight. So it's not like
it's not a guarantee. That first one I really don't know what happened there because it's not easy to get from the road to it. You got to go down into a pretty gully and come back the other side.
Yeah, and it completely friggin' disappeared.
Yeah, and somebody stole it, and it wasn't laying around. We looked, and somebody apparently stole it for some peculiar reason.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go check on those again in a month or so.
So, anyhow, while we were doing it, we also, in the last location, there was a spot that Eva looked at. It was obviously some kind of small working between a couple of trees. And we went over there Sunday morning to take a sample. And it was pretty much decomposed, intrusive rock, heavily iron stained. And we crushed that up through the RC46 today. And it had decent gold in it. Well, not high grade, but it was decent gold. It's like, well, that's flexing. And but interesting. When we were up on that ridge, which contains Montana B and Montana N, we came across a couple of dog holes that we hadn't particularly noticed before. We usually are been on the other side of the ridge, walking down there, right on top. So we sampled those, and the first one had really fine gold, significant amounts, not gigantic amounts, but enough to go, that needs an assay. The other one didn't have, what did you say, you saw one fleck of gold?
Yeah.
But it had pyrites, it had sulfide. And my recollection, it's the only place we've ever seen sulfides on.
Exactly.
You know?
Nothing else we have tested up there has had any sulfides.
Yeah. So it's quite perplexing. That needs a fire assay too. stuff by that little shaft up on top of the ridge, I thought I'd sampled it before. However, I can find no record of it. It seems to me it ran nothing really exciting, but I can't find anything. So maybe it's just my memory playing tricks on me.
Yeah, muscle up. I was already thinking about game cameras. I just have to find out whether they are allowed here. There are plenty of areas around here where you can't put up game cameras.
Well, not only that, if you put up a game camera and don't check it for a year, what good does that do? We've
No,
had
you put up one of the
256,000.
ones that talks to the internet.
Yeah, I say it's one of those things that it could get pretty challenging. It's cheaper just to replace the post here. But anyhow, um, so where that little shaft is, um, I'll have to take a look around. I've looked at the satellite, and the saddle up there is one of the few places where the backbone of that ridge is broken, where there's actually a gap in it. Most of it, you have this hard quartzite. Um, it actually is a more technical term, orthoquartzite. It's silica sand that has been uh, compacted and cemented into sandstone. That's orthoquartzite as opposed to metaquartzite. But anyhow, you have these sedimentary beds there, and the quartzite tends to be pretty weather resistant. And it just forms, as you could, if you remember some of the pictures of Eva walking down the ridge, you can see it's just continuing. And so right there, what I call the saddle is a break. And there's another one, about 50 feet north of that, there's another one. And I'm suspicious that those are cross faults. Rock Butcher was watching the video yesterday, and he also was highly confident that was in fact a fault that was crossing the ridge. Now this is very interesting because at Montana B, the perpendicular vein is fracture filling in a cross fault. Okay, it's vertical, but it's perpendicular basically to the bedding plane. Longitudinal, the strike of the bedding plane. Okay. Um, so it would indicate to me the possibility of another perpendicular vein. On the other hand, that small shaft, it's in that apparent zone of less resistant rock between the two quartzite outcrops. Hi, Jean-Francois. And so I look at that and I go, well, that seems like it could be a more broken material. If the cross fault was conducting fluids, then it can inject those between the strata, the sedimentary strata. And that's what happened at the pack rat structure, the pack rat vein there at Montana Beach. That's between the strata, whereas the perpendicular vein is a fault crosses the strata. So there's tantalizing indications that, we might have a similar thing. Another thing that, little one, I got some pictures. I've got all ready and stuff. Navigate. So go to raw video, and they're at the top. They're all preceded by an A. So
one of those is the one that is currently our.
Says A saddle, A.
Yeah, one of those is currently the thing.
Okay.
Thumbnail.
So let's go to the saddle.
Okay. So let me get. I'm going to put it on the show screen, people. Just bear with me while I do it. You want to go to a saddle. That is your
Okay. So you see, this is the area at the top of the ridge. You notice there's no hard quartzite outcropping at all. It's just nice and flat, and smooth, and small grained material. This is quite unusual for the top of that ridge. Now the next one be like what?
You've got a notch with collar, a notch, and a shaft by saddle.
Okay, a knot. Okay. Now here is that zone. You notice on each side you've got more weather-resistant rock rising up, and this more weathered material in the middle. And that, again, really catches my eyes. Something about that stratum is different stuff on each side. Now, if you continue walking up that, and we got a knot.
A notch with collar and a shaft by saddle.
Okay, a notch with collar. So as you continue up there, as you come over that little rise, if you take a look down there in the middle of the frame, you see that red oxide cover on the shaft. Now, to me, that looks basically directly in line with this structure. Okay? Go to the next one now. What?
Before we go to the next one, what I was talking to you about the other day, if you take a look at this mountain that's over here,
Yeah.
It's got the same kind of stuff going on, and it's basically in a diagonal line.
Possibly.
With this.
Doesn't matter. It's private property. It's a ranch.
Okay, so a shaft by saddle.
Yeah.
This is the last one.
Now, this is when you get up to that shaft. It's got your BLM cover on it and everything. Now, I couldn't, it was bright sunlight. I couldn't see in it. I was too stupid. I should have just laid down on my belly, stuck my face up to that grate so I could see a little bit deeper. But as you notice, there's very little dump next to it. I don't know, thinking back on it, that amount of material, is that even going to make a hole deep enough to require a cover?
No,
you know, I wouldn't think so. Therefore, and all that material there is all high iron material. You know, there is no wall rock that I can see in that little dump area there. So that would presumptively indicate that that whole shaft was dug in high iron material, which is very interesting. Now, I didn't take a sample because I kind of clearly recollected that when I was up there before, I took a sample of that stuff.
I should have told you to take
a sample. However, he didn't. I can't seem to find any records of it. So, we need to go back up there and access the shaft and, you know, go ahead and rappel down there, take a look at exactly what's going on, and get a good idea, first of all, how deep is it and how wide is this iron zone? The stacked ore at Dog Hole 2 had lichen on it, which indicates it's been quite a while. There was a lot of lichen on it too. So it's been quite a while since that rock was stacked there. And this could have been around the 1930s, where the price of gold changed dramatically. or in the late 1930s, where they stopped gold mining for the war effort. I have no idea why they stopped here. The working just down the hill, they went a lot further into the mountainside. They were sinking along structure and chasing about a 10, 12-inch wide vein between the strata. But the little bit of high iron material that was stockpiled on the waste dump there was it was reasonably good grade. But so right there, I'd like to dig a trench across that. That's on my priority list. I've see.
Okay. Now, Honey says you should have reached the camera under to get an unobstructed view.
Possibly.
You would cross trench.
Not that I know of, Jean-Francois. So
Jean-Francois, that's something I've wondered about because some of the now what I found interesting that he wasn't paying attention. There is a certain type of lichen of some kind that grows up there that is a pretty bright tangerine. I mean, literally, it's a bright tangerine. The funny part about it is until we found that stockpiled second pile, I have only ever seen that orange growing on certain host rock up there. I've never seen it growing on anything sitting around in a deliberate pile. So I'm not sure what that particular lichen likes. But I told him at the time, always tell him about the plant, that, I had never seen that particular.
I agree. That's the only place we've seen sulfides up there now, too.
Yeah. And
go ahead and scroll down.
If you take a look at that escarpment that's up there, the whole escarpment is covered with that stuff.
Keep scrolling.
Yeah, I'm trying to read them all.
I can read faster than you. Oh.
Watch out for poison sticks. Yeah, what does the geomap say? The quartzite.
What about it? It's quartzite. There's some
Shiny Rocks wants to come help dig somewhere. There's nothing I can do about the audio stream, people. I don't know what the hell is wrong with it. Okay? I have everything. We changed no settings. Everything has been done.
Out as far as you can tell.
And no, I have not had. There's no trumpet plants up here.
Yeah, none at all. So,
that I do know.
I don't know what's in that hole. I don't know how wide the structure is, but unfortunately, we're probably going to have to make another trip up there and spend a day or two on top of that ridge. It's not easy to get to the top of that ridge. It's not horrendously difficult. It's not technically difficult at all. It's just a long walk. It's a shorter walk if you walk directly uphill. It's a longer walk if you walk gently downhill. I say, there's I've looked at the satellite, and there is a road accessing a mine further along that ridge that we could technically easily extend to get up to that saddle. It wouldn't be that hard. But we need to get some assays run. We need to get more samples. We need to, I have to rappel in that shaft and see what it's looking like down there. Try and get an idea as far as I can tell, he's but the material, the ore was hauled out by burro or something. I mean, mules or burros or something like that. There was no road to these location shafts. Uh, there's paths to the other one. They could easily footpath, whatever. Why the mine wasn't successful? There's lots and lots of reasons besides not having good ore.
Jean-Francois says gather vegetation, mulch it, steep it with nitric or Eco Goldex or glycine, concentrated liquor, and test it for stannous chloride. I'm already planning to go after some vegetation at some point this year.
I'm just doing the rocks. They're pretty good.
No, I have seen no trumpets up here anywhere.
So once I get down that shaft, take a look around, see what I can see there, then my thought is go up by the saddle and cross trench that.
I don't think they had a zip line there, David. I mean, a zip line would work.
I see no indication of it. No cable left over, no anchorages, anything like that. They did have a cable laying around at Montana Beach. And so
they might have packed the material over to Montana Beach and down there.
Or it's a lot closer to get to the one downhill.
Yeah.
But I really don't know. I also need to check out and see whether or not there's a plausible path that we could maybe improve fairly easily to where a quad could make it up there. Really don't know. Never walked that area with that in mind before. So, not sure what the situation is. Definitely needs more sampling. It also, with those two dog holes up there, they were a long structure generally from saddle area where that shaft is too. So that could theoretically be the same structure, although it's a lot farther away. It's over 500 feet away. So it's kind of hard to tell.
Can you wire power off the quad to run your rock hammer?
No, the quad's just a quad and everything. I'm getting the quad up there is the question. Technically, would it be hard to build a road? No. Get permission. Yeah, there is a path of sorts, David.
Yep. There's definitely a path of sorts.
It's going to have to be steeper than 3% muscle up. Guaranteed on that. But, as I say, it's right now, take some more samples, dig some trenches, get down that shaft, and then from there, go with the flow. If the indications are good, that there's a significant mineralized zone there of significant grade, then more work would be indicated in terms of trenching, etc. And then possibly ask for a plan of operations, something to allow us to bust an actual road up there. If you were to take like a mini excavator and use it to build a road, improve the road that's currently there and then bust a new road all the way, you could probably do that in a day or so. And then you have an excavator up there, and that could come in real handy for checking stuff out. So, not sure exactly what's going to happen. I haven't even had a chance to talk to the claim owner yet because it's Memorial Day. So, I'll be talking to him tomorrow, showing him some of the pictures. By then, theoretically, he'll have seen the video. So we shall see what we shall see. If you're taking a look at this. Here's the ridge.
Here, I'll get that.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
This is a top view of the ridge. Up here, Montana B, there's a fault line. They mined down on that. The middle decline was. And then there's what we call the pack rat vein, which is off to the side. They put a decline in that. That appears to be where by far most of the material was moved. Okay.
They're discussing ways to get quads to power.
And this has tantalizing indication it might be a similar sort. Looking sideways, this is kind of how your cross section of that ridge would look. Got this steeply dipping sedimentary formation. There's sandstone. Some are harder than others. There's dolomite in there. And this side here is little mini scarps stuff. These resistant outcrops of sedimentary layers are. The far side is mainly soils till you get to the close. Then you have these scarps where it's like one of these structures is slid off and exposed the stuff below it and such. And the problem with that is this, you can see that for a long way away. How long? A long way away. Okay? On the other hand, this side here, you can only see it from the bottom of this valley right there. From that road, that's it. No other way to see it. So it'd be visually much, much less interesting on this side. So that's my hope. And this distance here is a couple hundred vertical feet. So it's not real short. And that's kind of the situation there. What's that dip? Yeah, it's about 60 degrees, roughly. That should actually be a little steeper than that. About 45. Yeah. That one decline a little further down the hill, when I was in that, I could actually work my way up it without having to do more than just pull on the rope, brace my feet, pull on the rope, brace my feet, stuff like that. Yep. So anyhow, that's kind of the situation there. That other one way up there on the top of the mountain, well, not top of the mountain, the one with the really big views. That kind of interesting to find that other spot that seemed to have good mineralization. Didn't show super good gold, but on the other hand, I've seen if I was looking at that kind of a pan at Montana B, I'd be going, that's some pretty good stuff. Okay, it varies, but see what else is going on. The guys in Nicaragua are working on the ball mill and getting a screen on it and such, getting it tuned in. When they first put the kind of a trommel screen on the end of the ball mill, first of all, some of the material was working its way over the near end of the screen where it was contaminating the undersize. And from the sounds of things, it's also just been heavily overloading the screen where it can't work. So I told him you need to try cutting the feed substantially to the ball mill and seeing what happens. Uh, you're overloading the screen, it's blinding, it's not working, and life is just not going to function. So that's what they're doing there right now, trying to get that addition on there. And they were also concerned a little bit about the water flows because they had to add a spray bar for the screen. I've never seen a ball mill where the screen needed a water bar. So I think they're just overfeeding the ball mill for size, and we'll see what happens there. And as such, they haven't been able to even worry about feeding the tables yet with it. So that's kind of what we're doing there. The impact impact wheel design seems to be pretty firm at the moment, but worry about that when uh, get the line down in Central America working, and we theoretically start working on that. I think next weekend, little one, we're probably going to be going up to Montana B again, doing more ridge hiking. Hopefully, we can get the quads. At least we can get up to the Montana B quads.
Yeah, that would be nice.
We'll need to head down the other direction, saddle, scope all that out. What can be done to get quad access there. Go from there. So, and Jeff Kablock still hasn't shown up yet. So I have no idea what that's going to do. Plus, it looks like my water pump's leaking on the fan, so I'm going to get that fixed this week. And the minor bagels seem to work just fine. Still need to get another carburetor for it, but such is life. Second, I'm going to get some more water here. Hold on for a minute.
He'll be right back, folks. Weather was decent. Minor Bago worked okay. Eva was a real trooper. It was a lot of working, a lot of hiking. My heart seemed to do okay. Uh, my legs seemed to be limiting I'm
factor.
going to go do things. You keep talking.
Okay.
Don't have anything else you need to transfer.
Not that So anyhow, that's kind of the dealio. Are the walls of the minor big ones? Oh, you bet they are, Jeff. 1.5 inch styrofoam. I built it out of 1.5 inch square tubing on 2-foot centers, and between all the ribs is 1.5 inch square 1.5 inch styrofoam. So it's pretty well insulated. We have a heater in there. It doesn't have a thermostat. Evidently, there's a siren outside. Um, we don't have a thermostat on it, but we just regulate it by opening windows and vent, stuff like that. Let's see. Well, that's unfortunate, honey bunny. That's the nice thing nowadays, John. Most of these things have low oil shutdowns nowadays. That's a good thing. Out at the mill, got 900 pounds in the tank right now. Just changed wear plates out, and gonna be over at Lauren's making some new wear plates. Might try that out, Jean Francois. But anyhow, so mill seems to be going okay. We're still getting a couple things fired up over there, like the pH meter. Still needs a little tweaking. Uh, Everything seems to be running pretty smoothly out there. Didn't seem to suffer any significant damage. So, any other subjects talk about or anything like that? Oh, weird. Not touching anything. Well, apparently, David, it also has to do with how well the material is clearing out of the mill. If you try and push it too fast, the mill is trying to rebeat stuff, and it really increases the wear rate significantly. Probably, honey bunny. I don't know uh, how it'll go. You know how that can go. Well, we just took our time muscle up. One thing that was kind of concerning to me is at that last location, getting to it took about an hour of driving first gear, low range, 4-wheel drive, just taking it easy because it was so damn bumpy. And so I was thinking, well, what happens if somebody needs medical care up here? You know, we had a um, great landing zone right behind the camper. I mean, you could have landed at 2 Chinooks out there practically. You know, but so I asked Lauren what the procedure is calling a helicopter. And he's saying basically the first responders have to call the helicopter in. To which I'm thinking, well, shit, by the time the first responders get there, it's going to be 2 hours. You know, that's not going to be real quick service, so to speak. So I guess you're kind of on your own for a while. So if it's not something that's going to be made worse by trying to exfiltrate, like, you know, potential back injury or something, probably be better off to just, you know, take it slow and head on out and meet the ambulance somewhere. And so uh, that was unfortunate. But I understand why they kind of do it, but goodness gracious, that's disheartening. Look, I've got insurance, and we do. Just send the helicopter. We can pay. Yeah, we've got a subscription to Life Flight, and so I always thought I'd just call for help and a helicopter would show up, but apparently that's not exactly the way it works. How annoying. So, excuse me. So, all in all, wasn't a bad trip. Kind of annoying how many things got messed with, but you know, that's life. We'll get it fixed. Um, Next weekend, yeah, looks like we got a job to do. What the heck is the weather like? I don't know. I don't want to. No, I don't want to check the weather. There's no. Yeah, thing there. Um. Anyhow, weather will be what the weather is. Weather was good this week. A little bit cooler than 70.
Oh,
What's the weather like gonna be next weekend?
Friday, Saturday,
Ooh,
Sunday,
weltering. Oh, well, head up early. Take lunch with us. Oh, take plenty of water and do what we can. Head on down. Yeah, that saddle's kind of exposed to the sun. There is some shade up there. There's some bushes. You saw where the deer had been hiding out under one of them there. But yeah, I prefer 60. Gonna be a lot more pleasant than 80 or 90 degrees. Uh, so uh, that's what we're looking at there. Got to get that tank filled out at the tank tops and shorts. Yeah, nah, not really, David. That's it's kind of radiation at 5,000 feet. Yeah, the solar energy is pretty extreme. You want something light and very airy, so it creates a barrier between you. What, little one? Yeah, it can happen. Um, I was talking to someone I know up here, and he says that occasionally, if you do need a helicopter to do something, you can talk to the National Guard and maybe get them to do a training flight where they carry your equipment up to the top of the mountain. So we shall see what we shall see. Anyhow, any other questions or subjects or anything? Got lots to do to keep us busy this summer, like. So that's good. Hopefully, we'll get some real breakthrough. In the meantime, oh well. Okay. Yeah, that's what he was saying. It can be done on the side view. Montana bee is over here, and one of these layers is where the pack rat structure is. Now, the Montana bee would come in right about here. Hi, Mr. Virtue. How's it going? I say they're working on the output screen for the ball mill right now. Trying to get it installed, working smoothly, and then calibrate the feed to the ball mill to make it run properly. No word on how it's affecting the recoveries because they haven't got to that point yet. Matter of fact, he sent me like 10 videos, called me up about an hour before the live stream. We haven't had a chance to look at said videos, see what's going on. Yeah, Mr. Virtue. These things happen. No big deal. Two demerits, as usual. It means nothing, as usual. Oh. Well, again, any subjects or anything to be gone over? I think I pretty well informed everything here. Did you see the video we did this week, Mr. Virtue? Talking over some of the details of that. You are forgiven, Mr. Virtue. uh, well, I haven't seen anything. He cleans the drawing board. Man, travel time on that's going to suck, David. Anyhow, I don't really see anything else here, so why don't you cue it up, honey bunny? Well, we'll need to get on to the whatever it's called, Dropbox. Yeah. Oh. Anyhow, Eva did. Go ahead, Johnny Bunny. Eva did a great job. I was surprised at how well she paced there. There was more than once I was walking behind her and not the other way around.
Okay,
So,
good night, everybody.
happy prospect